In conclusion, I believe Spotify hinders creativity and encourages artists to make bloated, safe, and repetitive music. I think owning copies of your music and direct to consumer is a better model for artists and fans.
Because they will raise prices again for some arbitrary reason. Just watch.
With streaming services across mediums raising prices and clicking up, I think it's time we had a talk. This can't continue any longer. It's going too far. I told y'all so. When I brought it up last year, y'all was in the comments talking about I ain't got no money. I was broke on my pockets.
Broke nigga alert.
All because me and a bunch of other people saw what was coming. That's okay though. I'm not mad, but we need to do something about this. It's not yet, but it's almost too late because we, and yes, I mean we, have effectively killed off physical media. Hold on. Let me finish. Remember when we used to own things? We used to like buy a CD and it was ours. You could hold it in your hands. If we wanted to, we could rip songs from that CD and burn new ones and make playlists. Eventually, we all moved on to MP3 players and iTunes took over. And it wasn't that bad. I mean, what was wrong with having music at your fingertips on a dedicated device that didn't require a subscription, internet access, age verification, and undying loyalty for you to keep the music you paid them for? Yes, I know why we made the switch. These companies came in to save the day from big bad pirating, which I believe was a completely overblown issue that was replaced by a solution that's put artists and their fans in a far worse position. And it ushered in an indisputably darker future for all of us. And I need everyone to stop saying all of this is inevitable. Stop saying that they're going to do this with or without our consent. You have the power to do things. And I know it feels like a mountainous task, but we have to do it. A lot of y'all are ready. A lot of y'all are down, but for the other half of you, I need you to get closer. At some point in your life, you're gonna have to stop being such a pussy. You are going to have to give up some form of comfort and do some work to get the timeline that you want. Stop being so passive. Yes, I am saying you're going to have to cut back on streaming significantly. Yes, especially those platforms that have a history of mistreating artists. You vote with your wallet and your silence. If you let them, they will not only manufacture AI models to replace all of your favorite hardworking artists, they will also manufacture your consent. You see these headlines and tweets floating around from CEOs saying things like, consumers are telling us. They're not literally speaking with people. They're saying the data that they have shows that consumers, that's an insult, you should take that as an insult, consumers are giving us money, or we lose little to no money making these changes while increasing our profit margins. You have to make them bleed. Voting with your wallet works. It takes time. It's not going to be visible within a week or a month. You have to hold the line. Have some conviction. And if I see y'all boys in the comments again talking about, well, what about Spotify? They only just began making I don't give a fuck. They're giving us so much and all we have to do is give them however much it is, $11.99 per month, price adjusted for fuckery forever. Without them, I wouldn't have access to 1 million songs. Okay, let's talk about that first. This whole Spotify lets you listen to 1 million songs, so it's a good deal. It is true that Spotify has millions. Matter of fact, let me stop saying Spotify right now. Streaming services, because this is about everybody, has millions of songs on their platforms. But you are not listening to 1 million songs. It is disingenuous to factor that into the equation. Most people, like 95% of you, are listening to the same artist on repeat. Streaming is like a buffet. It makes sense in certain occasions. It's great for people who are trying to eat a lot, maybe feed a lot of kids. But if you were just there to get a plate or two, it's not the best deal because you're paying for all the food that you're not eating too. You are not listening to 1 million songs. Don't even try to dispute it because I've seen those Spotify raps. People are not as diverse as they claim to be. But while we're on that topic, let's talk about that. This Spotify rap shit has warped people's minds. This performance review at the end of the year has people lying out their ass, hiding and photoshopping names to their top 5. Look at this shit. People are spending the whole year streaming music they don't even like so it can be on their Wrapped. What the fuck are we actually doing? Is it that important to be perceived in such a way? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to prove yourself to? Just be. It's okay to like the music you like. This is not an audit on you. You exist outside of this list. I fear we as a society have given up on being individuals with their own thoughts and desires in exchange for the comfort of being part of a group. The major downside being everyone is deathly afraid to be shunned from the group, to be othered. People can't even explain why they like things or really tell you what is interesting about things anymore, but they can probably tell you who else likes that thing. And this is not a generational problem. This is a now thing. This is how people are now. If your favorite artist is not on your Wrapped, it does not disqualify you from being a fan. But I will say, if you want to be a fan and you're listening to the same artist repeatedly and claim to love them, then buy that artist's music directly. Buy merch, support them so they don't have to play the streaming game, because it is that. Streaming encourages bloated, incoherent albums full of short, meaningless songs. That doesn't mean every single album on there is meaningless. I'm just saying what it encourages. Your favorite rapper, your favorite singer, songwriter can't come out with an album every 5 years. They can't come out with the album every 3 years. As soon as people are done consuming that album, they want the next one. All of these albums are just meant to catch your attention because they're trying to make a living in this environment. And that is it's actively trying to destroy them at the same time, just so they can maybe rub 2 pennies together at the end of the quarter. Now let me stop you right there. You're like, oh, these artists make money other ways. They're touring. They're not poor. Neither is fucking Spotify. And y'all feel bad for them. Some artists are very rich. The vast majority are barely paid what they're owed from these companies. And cherry picking rich artists should not prevent you from feeling sympathy for the rest of them. The entire reason you subscribe to Spotify is because of these artists. And somehow these streaming services have tricked you into believing that you'll be sitting in silence digging in your ass if not for them discovering the music for you. You would have thought they fought a fucking dragon the way they were acting. You made a company at the right time and it worked out great. But now it's all evolved into this giant parasite that feeds on others' works and somehow has tricked a large group of people into thinking they are the ones that deserve the sympathy. Since when do we start treating the middleman like they're the plug? And Spotify is the middleman twice removed. I do not care about the labels not giving them a good deal and them never profiting until recently. The amount of time, the amount of breath I have wasted to try to explain this to people is insane. Spotify just now profiting is by design. How does a company that's not been profiting for multiple years keep acquiring new assets and expanding? How does that work? They operate at a loss for tax purposes and as a tactic to create a monopoly without creating a monopoly. This is a very common tactic. You undercut the competitors and operate at a loss until it's just you left, because that company cannot compete without the cash reserves. And like I said, you avoid buying the company out and creating a monopoly, but you're still making you the only viable option. They are not worth your sympathy. How you could possibly feel bad for a faceless multi-billion dollar company, but not for the musician trying to make ends meet in spite of a predatory business, I don't know. You at least know what they look like. You know their names. Name one Spotify board member besides the CEO. I'll wait. Without Googling, bitch. And the thing that really upsets me the most is it isn't even genuine sympathy for the workers at the company. It's a hopeful wish that they'll be in the same position one day, be stupidly rich beyond their fathoming, because that's what you've been conditioned to want. It reminds me of this word just nags at me all the time. People love to ignore it. Capitalism. Making money is not inherently bad. Making a lot of money isn't bad. But to me, making money for the sake of making more money cannot be seen as anything other than malicious, especially when you know it's at the cost of others. In a perfect world, in a perfect society, right, one would believe that a company would make a product that they're passionate about and they think it could benefit customers.
Soon, word gets around to the housewives who want shorter, easier wash days and cleaner clothes. Freddy's soap is just what they need.
They put it on the market, customers buy the product that benefits them, and the company sees profit. Perfect. They continue to make profit for a significant amount of time. Yay for everyone. Not promising to last forever, but a good minute. Now, in late stage capitalism, the game has changed.
The profit motive, which drove Fudsy to accomplish so much, may bring out the evil as well as the good. Hello?
Fudsy, old boy, I've got a great idea.
Between us, we control 70% of the country's soap sales.
The company no longer focuses on the product at all. Instead, they focus on how to lock the customer into being a customer forever by eliminating all competition through private equity, loss leader strategies, and of course, paying the government to let them not have a monopoly, but it's something extremely close to it.
99 times out of 100, competition works. When it doesn't, the government steps in to prevent monopolistic attempts.
because the customer benefiting from the product isn't the goal anymore. It doesn't matter if you benefit from it. The customer is the product, and the new customer is the shareholders, aka rich people who don't give a fuck about anything other than lining their pockets at the expense of us. They don't care about music. They don't care about music streaming. They care about the numbers going up. I'm not even talking about like people just hoarding money, which is an issue in itself. We're talking about making things fucking suck on purpose, putting paywalls on things that used to be free out of nowhere. Oh, you paid for no ads? Well, those were the ads we were talking about, so we still gonna slip these ones in here. Slowly making things worse and worse because they can, and squeezing more money from you is the plan. That is what capitalism is. Do you know how much they pay artists and Spotify? 0.003 cents per stream. Sorry, the plural makes it sound like more than it is. 0.003 of a penny. This is not just a Spotify problem. Again, this is a streaming issue. YouTube pays even less, I think. But let's go back in time to an era that most of us remember, the CD player era. People were making fucking money. One album would run between 10 and 20 bucks depending on the act. Artists were getting paid. Everything was good. Then piracy started. The labels began reporting lower numbers each year until it reached an all-time low. Not the band. MP3s took over and labels were collapsing. Streaming comes to the rescue. Streaming is adapted everywhere. Revenue comes back but never reaches the same peak. But somehow the labels are happy. Why is that? It's because during that time, the labels restructured contracts and set up legislation to ensure that they would be the biggest profiteers. Where an artist used to make 30 to 40% of a CD revenue, now it's infinitesimally small because the primary mode of music is streaming. Those Swifties know what the fuck they're doing. When they buy 3-4 albums for Taylor, they know that's going mostly to her. These entities took advantage of a climate and did what capitalists do. Fuck people over for profit. This is a simplification, yes, but this is not complicated to understand. Capitalism destroys everything, and it's meant to. It is meant to narrow down your options until you have one or two that are probably working together. Damn it, if I gave you a penny right now and the means to do it, you could probably cut a penny in half. You could probably cut it into a fourth. But if I told you to cut off 0.003 of a penny of anything, you couldn't do it. Look, we played a part in this creation. We did, because we were tricked. When most people think of evolution or progression, we're thinking things get better over time, more advanced, flying cars and shit. Y'all think them flying cars coming anytime soon? Or is it more likely, especially when capitalism is in the driver's seat, that these large companies will devolve everything if they think it will increase profit margin? Everything will get worse if you let it. Hindsight is 2020. We can't go back in time, but we can do something about it now. Cut back, buy physical media to show everyone that there is a market for it. Listen to music communally. Again, we stopped that. Vote with your wallet and ask yourself, how long are you going to use this app? 10 years, 20 years, and then when you can't pay for a month, delete all your songs, all your playlists? Or maybe the artist that you enjoy removes their music entirely. Then what? Or maybe they'll just use their algorithm to suggest music that they want to push. You don't need to give this company, any company, $11.99 a month for 30 years to have music. We overcorrected, and now it's time to turn back. Support the artist directly. Bandcamp, merch, physicals, support real people, real art. Draw your line in the sand somewhere and do not move it. Sell those seeds if you got to. You have to find a way to fight back. They killed off all the competition for your dollar. That means it's important. Use it against them. We can find alternatives and go without subscriptions way longer than they can last without us buying. If it crashes something, so be it. What about the workers? They don't give a fuck about the workers. They keep firing them. I don't have a CD player. Buy one. What do you think people did when they didn't have MP3 players in the car? They bought the little fucking tape shit to go in there. Do the same thing. Or shit, bring back the fucking the audio, the car audio culture. That's turned into something real niche. People used to have radios in their car all the time. Bring that back. I won't say no one, because people around here are definitely still doing it. But put subwoofers, put amps in your car, man. Get active again. Please miss me with that. Oh, so you hate capitalism but buy things argument. Says the person who doesn't understand capitalism but will defend it to their death because it's the status quo. We have to start somewhere. If we can't do this, I know 100% we can't do step 2 or 3. And please don't think I forgot. I'm supposed to be doing a giveaway for Turntable Lab or Amoeba Music, somewhere to get physical copies of music. So if this is your name, hit the email, be ready to prove it's you, and come get you your $50 card. I'm not the kind of person who subscribes to the ideology of making the world a worse place for my enemy at the cost of making it worse for myself until it comes to streaming services. At that point,
I throw my life away and you throw your life away right now. I hate you, nigga. Let's die.
Y'all be safe.